Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Ohio State just wrapped up practice number 3. This is Buckeye Huddle daytime, not prime time with Juck. We got Juck here. Was able to watch practice with us today as Ohio State just wrapped up practice number 3 of fall camp. Juck, thoughts on the day? And they went a little longer than the first 2 days. Got some scrimmaging at the end.
They did.
What was your thoughts
on
everything?
They did. We got some extra bonus scrimmaging at the end. We got the guys all over here taking the pads off. A fantastic day of practice. I thought things looked really crisp for day 3. It was definitely a lot more crisp at the end than I would have anticipated. I was, again, and I started on this earlier in the week. I am so impressed by this offensive line. Not just the players, not just but the structure, the way they had it broken down with the 3 offensive line coaches. You had Charlie Dickey in the middle, kind of schooling 2 of them on something, and then you had 2 groups with Tyler Bowen over here, Marcus Johnson over here, and it was just like, man, there is so much more work being done here, so much more personal development going on in the physical frames, the way these freshmen are moving. Javon McFadden, an amazing day, Mark. They did some one-on-ones. Javon McFadden stonewalled a couple of big-name dudes. And
yeah, we got a great look at the O-line, D-line today with one-on-ones going on. This is the first day that they had done one-on-ones for us. So Javon McFadden had a couple of back-to-back reps where he really just anchored, and that was it. That was the end of that rep. And so really impressive stuff there from the freshman. I thought they got a lot of good things out of a lot of young players. I thought Ian Moore had a very good one-on-one session. He was able to stop. He was able to stonewall Caden Curry on a rep.
He sure did.
Came back the next rep. I think it was Zion Grady on the next rep that he was able to defeat. Working at left tackle. I look at this roster right now, and I don't know what the offensive line is going to look like on August 30th against Texas. New guys in new positions. You got 2 new starting tackles, basically a new starting center, though one with experience.
Right.
But it's a new combination, and so getting them to gel and getting that cohesiveness, is that going to be there August 30th versus October 30th? I'm not sure yet. But what I say with some confidence is I think this is the deepest offensive line they've had in a very long time. When they put the 2s in last year in practice, it was a massacre.
I imagine.
And when they put the 2s in this year, you just don't see that drop. You see another 5 capable guys kind of rolling out there.
It's impressive. It really is. And again, I'm someone who was pretty rough on a couple of the evaluations in the recruiting cycles recently. Man, I feel dumb right now. I gotta tell you, these guys look great. They really do. It's an impressive unit. And like you said, it is very deep. The future of the offensive line looks really, really good at Ohio State, and that's where it all starts. That's I love it. It's just fantastic to see. It really is.
Defensive line, that's an interesting situation right now because Edric Houston not practicing again today. Although I will say this about Edric, he was jogging back and forth. Yesterday it was like a kind of a walk, but it was not. It was a very cautious walk.
Okay,
back and forth, inside to outside. This, today he was jogging a little bit. The tempo was up. The energy was up a little bit.
Energy,
he looks like he's going to be just fine.
He was saying hello. He fist bumped you on the way out. Yeah, he's in good spirits. He certainly doesn't look like somebody who's going to be out for any length of time. That's for sure.
So, but with that said, Tywan Malone was actually the guy who took the 1 reps when they went to the scrimmage period. He was the first guy out there with the 1s alongside Cade McDonald, of course. So that's what they're rolling with right now. Will Smith is trying to push. We'll see. There wasn't much said about him in the spring. Lately, there's been a little more buzz.
There has.
What, just your thoughts on what you saw out of that interior today? Just again, with Edric out, even more guys getting opportunities to roll with the 1s and 2s.
Yeah. So the good news was we had the offensive line and the defensive line right in front of us. So we got to watch kind of all of their stuff. I really think that Will Smith Jr., we started hearing this buzz coming from Big Ten Media Days. A couple of might have been Ryan Day and Sonny Styles both had mentioned Will Smith Jr. And I was kind of wondering, sometimes we know that Will has to be that guy after Caden McDonald. There really isn't any other option unless they go a different route, schematically. But were they just saying that because he kind of has to be that guy and we're letting him know publicly, like, we support you, you got to be the guy? Or were they really seeing him emerge? Was it, is that what's really going on? I don't think I saw much today that would, make me lean one way or the other out of Will. But I will say I was really happy to see the energy out of Kenyatta Jackson. He's the guy that I think we all know, like, look, that's the guy that can step up and potentially lead this unit. And man, did he ever. He's got the juice. They were all fired up. I mean, it's a unit that doesn't look like they're worried. They don't look like they feel like they're the weak link on the team and the things that, worried about the interior depth, et cetera. Like they look ready to roll. I feel a lot more confident having watched this than I did previously. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, my thing, I think, with the D-line is I think their top 5 or 6 are tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we're going to see the drop-off from last year that maybe some people are anticipating with that. But you got to have 8 in today's game with the longer seasons and the big games they're going to be playing and everything else. And I think that's going to be the interesting story of camp is, okay, the top 5 or 6, really good. Who's going to step up and be like 6, 7, 8, 9? Like, who is going to be that second wave? And it's going to be interesting. Jason Moore did a couple nice things today. Had a knockdown at the line of scrimmage. Being 6'5", 6'6", it's a hilariously big defensive tackle. Was able to get those arms up and make some things happen there in the middle of the formation. To your point on Kenyatta, who I thought had a really good practice today, there's something about him that just people are going to almost be angry that he didn't play more, I think, the last couple of years, even though he's playing behind some NFL guys. But just today, one example of how his day went, they brought Brandon Innes across the formation, and Kenyatta was able to jump out and get a jam on Innes and really toss him. He knocked him off his pattern there. Then he was able to chase a rolling Julian Sayin out to the right, all the way to about the sideline, realized that he wasn't going to get there, and Sayin had to kind of throw it away basically, but he had peeled back into the flats, and had the ball been completed into the flats, he would have been able to make that tackle. So it was just an unbelievable display of like elusive, fluidity, athleticism, and instincts on display. Just that was just one example of his day. I thought he was really, really good. It was a good look today at the O-line and the D-line.
One thing that we both noticed as well on that defensive line is it appears like, Zion Grady is going to get an opportunity here. I think we're going to see, they're going to be feeding him some reps early on to see what he can do. We've heard that they're really fond of him, and boy, he looks really, really good. So I think we're going to be able to get to see that early and see him out there in maybe game 2, game 3, Grambling, Ohio, and see what he can do, which I'm kind of excited about. Yeah,
it feels like they're giving him every opportunity to earn a spot on like the second level, the second team defensive line. And whether he takes that or not, yet to be seen, but they're definitely throwing him out there in highly competitive situations against the 1s, against the 2s, and trying to see what he can do. Because they really like his upside. I think they like what they've seen of him so far in terms of the way he carries himself, and he's kind of the thing you always hear him talk about, like when the guys come in, the freshmen come in, is kind of who is already kind of handling themselves like a pro.
Right.
And that's been something we've been hearing about Zion as well. So we'll see kind of what that leads to. I think this is a huge camp for Dominic Kirks. We were talking about that earlier. He flashed at times today. And the one thing we mentioned earlier was if Zion Grady proves to be a guy who can be a depth guy early, and if Dominic Kirks proves to be a guy who can be a depth guy this year, I think everyone feels a lot better about the defensive end room kind of moving forward.
Yeah. The interesting thing about Kirks, somebody who, even the whole recruitment process, not really talked about, has flown under the radar the whole time he's been here. You don't never hear anybody bring him up. But when they had the spring game in here, they had that little the little scrimmage kind of game. Was the student appreciation.
Yes. Yep.
He really flashed in the student appreciation a couple times, and he looked good again today. He certainly got the size. But Painesville kid, I really like him. I always liked him coming out of high school. So exciting, I think. Exciting. But yeah, you're right. If you see those two guys really stepping it up, maybe it's not all doom and gloom on the defensive end moving forward.
Yeah, moving on to some other things. Brandon Innes just walked behind us. Boy, was he noticeable today.
He's electric.
He caught a lot of passes today. His energy is obviously infectious. This is a guy who we've talked about before, like Jeremiah Smith is going to see some very exotic looks against him this fall. That middle of the field with Brandon Innes and Max Clare, those guys have a chance to really catch a lot of footballs this year.
Rack up a lot of balls for sure. And, we were talking quite a while. Okay, what kind of numbers are we thinking here? Who could potentially lead the team in receptions? I think we put about 50. We'll take the over on 50 for BI. Yeah. But man, I'll tell you, he looks electric, noticeably faster. You could see it kind of on the clips that were coming out. But man, seeing it in person, it was wow. I was really impressed. Just a lot of juice to BI.
Yep. And again, the defense back to kind of there. Caleb Downs playing a lot of nickel, which again gets them a 3 safety look. They get Jalen McClain out there with Malik Hartford. If they're able to do that, if the trust is there in McClain and Hartford to be able to do that and move Downs kind of around for matchup purposes or whatever it may be, this is a very unique secondary if that's the case.
I'm kind of embarrassed that none of us thought of this as a potential. Like nobody brought this up all off season,
right?
And you see it, and it's like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense here. And yeah, they lined up first thing right off the rip when they put the first team defense up. That's what it was. It was Caleb out there right in nickel right away. So it certainly seems like this could potentially be something that they're planning on doing. Like they're not just playing around. Who knows, but. It definitely looked good. I watched him totally lock down Quincy Porter today, like he was a shutdown corner, which is like, the dude's got
big time college football,
6 inches
Quincy.
on him. Yeah, just lock him down.
Yep.
I mean, he's just obviously there's nothing he cannot do at a high level.
Yep. Kevin, we got a super chat.
GDJ just became a member of the channel.
Oh,
why don't you explain how you can become a member of the channel?
Yes. So we have channel memberships now. If you guys haven't seen, it's 99 cents a month. It's not a big expense. It's just a way to support the channel, help us out. As we do all these live shows and all this coverage throughout the season as we get started here. And so what you get is you get like little emojis, you get shout outs from us, obviously, but you also get, I think they rank the posters and things like that. And you also get little badges that kind of show you're a channel member and, kind of thanks you for your support. And the longer you're a member, the more you get. So you start with like a little Buckeye Huddle logo, but you can work your way up. And there's some other ones. I'm not going to tell you what they all are because channels haven't been up long enough, or the memberships haven't been up long enough to even know what the end game is yet. So you guys got to wait and find out. We got to let someone get there first.
Let him marinate.
Yeah. But so you get a little new badge for it's like 1 month, and then it's I think it's 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. So as you go along, and YouTube just came out with I think a 24-month option. So we're gonna find something to use for the 24-month option as well. But so you get a little badge, kind of shows that you're a channel member. And again, just 99 cents. We're not going to charge an arm and a leg for that, but it does help the channel if you're able to do that. So be sure to check that out. Downs back to playing nickel. Again, I think that obviously Caleb's got the skill set to do just about anything he wants to do on a football field.
Sure.
Play offense, play special teams, but I think that shows you how they feel about Jalen McClain.
Yes,
because they don't want him getting blocked by the veterans right now. I think I think it really gives you more insight into how they feel about Jalen McClain.
That's the first thought I had. By the way, Iron Buckeye, Jalen McClain.
Yes.
Which is incredibly impressive. A guy that comes in as a 3-star no-name kind of throw-in the class and plays a lot as a freshman and looks like, man, this dude's got a little something special to him. Matt Guerreri raves about him, everything he's done to put on weight, and just kind of reminds him of Downs and a little bit of the way he goes about his business. And it's really cool to see that, it looks like they're trying to make sure they get him on the field. In between him and Hartford, locking it down. By the way, freshman Fahim Delane looks the part. Man.
That's my guy. Look, I have told people I think this is a better prospect even than Lathan Ransom was coming out of high school, and I think he's a future star. So far, so good.
Yeah.
There will be a time, I'm sure, where the freshman wall happens. It happens to everybody. But, he has been a guy I've been wildly impressed by ever since I saw him his junior year. I first saw him his junior year of high school. I said this in my notes, practice 1, but Riley Pettijohn, again, looking like a third-year player.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of run with the twos. The depth at linebacker under James Laurinaitis. Again, they moved Cade Stover to play linebacker in a Rose Bowl. Not that long ago. That's not that I'm old enough to remember that.
Right.
and now it's like, my goodness, your twos like Peyton Pierce and Riley Pettijohn. You got TJ Alford in the threes. Like, how is this the same linebacker room?
The speed with which he flipped that room and made it like, oh, this is one of the best rooms in the country. Just ho-hum casually. I mean, I think we all knew he could do it, had the potential to do it, but just to watch it happen, amazing. And it just keeps on rolling as we roll into a couple of prospects, Ohio prospects that you and I both really like. And Sincere Johnson and CJ Sana in the class of 2026. It's really awesome to have linebacker you back. I think that we're going to get there.
Yep. Then you get into like some of the freshmen like Bo Jackson.
Oh, listen.
Like Turbo Rogers had a tremendous day yesterday. Today it looked like Bo Jackson had a good day. I know people can look. It's really hard to replace Henderson and Judkins. I mean, those were were they the two first back? No, they were the two of the first 4 or 5 running backs taken in the draft. I mean, and going in the second round is almost being a first round pick if you're a running back with how that position is valued these days. So I'm not going to sit here and say like the running backs there's going to be zero drop off. It may even be better. I'm not going to go nuts on that. But watching like a Bo Jackson and a Turbo Rogers already be able to do some things, and then seeing like James Peoples and CJ Donaldson both had nice runs today in scrimmage, it does feel like running back still in pretty good shape.
I love this room. I think that Bo is in today. I thought so before, but seeing him today out here with my own eyes in person, special. Bo is special. And we're going to see Bo this year quite a bit. CJ Donaldson is massive.
It's a big boy.
My gosh. You can see it. See it in a picture, see it on a stat sheet, but that is an enormous dude. This is a really good looking room, by the way. Isaiah West, I maintain, criminally underrated, and he's going to be a fan favorite at Ohio State at some point as well.
Dealing with some stuff right now, so they'll get him out there, get him up to speed as they can. But
you think we got a super chat from Kevin?
Yeah,
it's about what you're talking about, Omar Austin. How do the backup running backs look?
Yeah. So if we grant you that James Peoples and CJ Donaldson are kind of interchangeable, and we go a little deeper into the roster, I think Sam Dixon. I mean, he's only going by Samuel Dixon now on the roster. I thought Sam Dixon's showed some stuff here this last few days. So I think he's been solid, but I really like Bo Jackson, and I do wonder how quickly he takes hold of that third running back spot, or kind of how they massage that with Sam Williams-Dixon. But I like the depth. I think Turbo gives them a different dimension, and it's something that this is a position you can play early. We've seen it.
Absolutely.
We've seen it so many times at Ohio State over the years. You can go out there and make an impact. It doesn't have to be 25 carries a game, like old school Maurice Clarett stuff, but you can go out there. There's no reason Turbo Rogers can't go out there, catch a couple screens,
for sure,
jet sweep, whatever it might be. And so I particularly am less concerned about running back depth now than I was, maybe a month or two ago.
Exactly. Bo is electric. Turbo is electric. I think Isaiah West is a workhorse, and we haven't seen anything out of him yet, but just seeing him up close in person, like, yeah, man, that's a dude right there. I love the state of the linebacker room. I love the state of the running back room. Like, both rooms feel really just a lot different than they did a year or two ago. Just totally rebuilt, championship quality kind of rooms. That's how it feels to me.
More super chats.
We're starting to stack them up.
Oh
here.
my!
Ryan Dawes, CJ Donaldson compliment James Peoples at running back.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Yeah, James is Dobbins-esque in terms of his low to the ground, compact build, quick, explosive, and CJ's just that big workhorse. I think when I think of this team, and I want to stick to your point, but I'm going to branch off a little bit. When I think of this team, I look at like a CJ Donaldson, but then I also look at like a Max Clare. The red zone possibilities here. This is a team that should be very effective inside the 20, given the combinations they have, the size. You've got a guy like Jeremiah on the outside, Max Clare at tight end. You got a big running back like Donaldson. James Peoples, probably only about 5'10", but runs very low to the ground, very strong.
Powerful.
Maybe extremely powerful kid.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? I love the 1-2 there.
Yeah, a plethora of options inside the 20 for sure. But no, I think that I don't know that you could find a better 1-2 that complement each other. I mean, it's just perfect. I really am excited because CJ Donaldson at West Virginia, when they first, got him in from the transfer portal, I'm thinking, okay, serviceable, but, nothing I'm super excited about. But the physical transformation going from 243 to 225, he not only looks much better, but watching him in the spring game, a noticeably different speed, just a different tempo to his run. His gait even looked different. Now I'm really excited about him, and I think these two are going to be total dogs.
Yeah, he looks faster.
Yeah.
He looked faster out there today than I recall seeing him in the spring. He broke into the secondary on one and broke a long run, and just looks to be in very good shape right now. We got
3 in the queue.
Oh, my.
Mike Marino, how have the defensive tackles looked?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit, but I know you guys are probably still rolling in here. No Edric Houston today. We did mention he was jogging today, though, which is a good sign, obviously, just a couple days after this. I thought Cade McDonald made some noticeable plays. Jason Moore was a guy that jumped out a little bit, had a PBU, got his hands up, knocked the ball down to the line of scrimmage. Will Smith's been out there getting good reps in. Who am I missing?
Time Alone,
to
me, stood out of that group today. I think is maybe having the best day of that group to me. But honestly, nothing great. As we go through all the groups here that we've talked about, there's nothing there that really stands out to me as like I'm going to hang my hat on that. Nothing that makes me feel super awesome about that particular area, which is obviously the area of concern for us, is that depth there behind Edric and K-Mac. But hey, K-Mac's fantastic, and we know Edric is too, and he was jogging today. That's the good news.
Yeah. So it wasn't a day where there was maybe a special performance,
right?
But I didn't walk away from practice being like, oh boy, that defensive tackle situation. It was just one of those days where it was kind of a win some, lose some, I think, for those guys. Again, we saw a little bit of flash from Jason Moore, Tywone Malone getting some work with the ones, which is nice. Just there may be, and I always hate to say this about injuries, there may be an unintended benefit of Edric missing a week or two of practice, and that is enhanced competition for those backup defensive tackle spots. Now they're getting thrown in with ones more, and so there's going to be opportunities here for guys to step up at that defensive tackle spot. And then I very much like the defensive end situation. I think they're fine this year. Now we can get into the long-term situation on that. And again, as we just mentioned earlier, I think the progress of Dominic Kirks and Zion Grady this year will go a long way in dictating people's stress levels about the long term. But for now, for this year, I think they're set on the edge. I think they're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too.
Omar Austin again. Will Coach Hart call plays from the sideline or the booth this season?
I believe it's going to be the sideline, but I don't think they've decided that yet.
They've not yet. No,
they've not yet announced that officially, but that would be my fate. Yeah, like that would be my guess, but that is just a guess at this point. I just know Hartline, his personality is such that he's going to be wanting to be able to pull a Carnell Tate or a Brandon Ennis aside in the middle of a game, and whether it's instruction or just any, what are you seeing without, going through all the process of being on the headset with him. He's a guy who has spent his life on a football field. It just, I think that's going to be his preference. And then we'll see what they come to, they'll have to come to a consensus on that.
I have a really hard time. I think he's probably very much fighting this, even if they want to put him upstairs.
Yeah.
But, it's funny. I just, this discussion last year with Chip, when Chip first came in, he wasn't sure about it. He said, I've done both. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
people got some strong opinions about this. They want the OC in the booth. I mean,
Yep.
I remember doing a show and people get mad about it, but I think Hartline's going to definitely push as hard as he can to be on the sideline. I mean, that's a guy who wants to coach football, not sitting in a vanilla box.
Yeah, that is gonna be interesting, I think, to see kind of how that shakes out. But there's no formal announcement. That's just me kind of reading the situation, I guess, a little bit, just knowing Hartline and his background a little bit. And again, he's a fiery guy, so I think it could be hard to keep him up there. But we'll see what they decide. They'll obviously do what's best for the team.
Another super chat from Harris. How did Epi look today on the D line?
Oh.
Awesome among the freshmen. Yeah, he had some really good. We're going to get to some more freshmen here later in the show, so I'm glad you brought him up. He did flash today quite a bit, one-on-ones. He's big.
He's big.
He's got a lot. He's still got some room to fill out, but he's big. I mean, he's like what, 6'4", 6'5", 240 right now. I mean, he's got some size to him. He's got some length to him. He's got some bend, which is important because some of these bigger guys, they don't bend well, and then you may have to move him inside. And he bends. He's flexible. I thought he's had a strong 3 day. Like, he's been consistently good. Like a lot of the freshmen, it's like one day they're good, the next day you don't really realize they're out there, and then the next day they're good again. It's a roller coaster a lot of the times for the true freshmen. But
he missed spring as well. Yeah.
But for him to come in, and that's why I was so impressed about Turbo yesterday, is missing spring too. But for him to come in, he has been better than I expected so far, just this early.
Yeah, physically a unit, and he does got plenty of room on that frame to fill out even more. What he's put on some weight from the time, the last we saw when he committed it. Like, he's put on some weight already. He just looks like he's at some point going to be a real force out there. But if it happens sooner than later, I wouldn't be stunned.
Yeah, and we should have thrown him in with Kirks and Grady in terms of like the future. Yeah. Like, if those three flash this year, I think everyone feels, not that recruiting defensive ends isn't still going to be at the forefront of people's minds, but I think people are going to feel a little bit better about like what the outlook is next year, even though it's kind of ridiculous to be talking about next year because we have to start this year. But,
right.
But you guys are super fans. You look 2-3 years in the future. It's what you guys do. It's what we all do for teams that we like. So, I think they've got some possibilities there. It's going to be fascinating to see how many of those possibilities we're able to get. We're able to see something this year, maybe a preview.
Yeah. And I like you said, I mean, that's 3 potential options right there. If 2 of them pop, I think just that alone, we're feeling much better about the future.
Yep.
A little traffic control, and then back to the super chat.
Yep.
We're going to tag Tom and Tony in on this same stream. So that way we can keep our 400 people who are here happy.
Yes.
Get it all on one stream.
Yeah.
Yes, we will eventually bring. Not yet, because of course you guys would rather talk to us than them. But so we'll make sure they get a couple minutes at the end. But gotta let the stars eat here, right? So don't.
We do have like 3 more super chats at least.
Oh my goodness!
It looks to me like Lincoln spent the whole off season in the weight room.
Yeah, Lincoln Kienholz is significantly bigger. And that's just, I guess, the product of really kind of having that extra year. I mean, he comes in late the first year. He's never been like a guy who specializes. He's always, summers he's playing baseball, then he's, in the winters he's on the basketball floor. And so having this second year to kind of really focus on his body has definitely made him a much stronger player. Now, what does that mean for what Ohio State's looking to do? I don't know if I'm sure they asked him to bulk up. I think they want the QB run to be part of this offense still. You got it with Will Howard. He was so big, he was able to kind of take some of that punishment. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of with Julian being a little bit on the slighter side compared to Lincoln, kind of how that plays itself out in fall camp.
Yeah, I would say that definitely you want Lincoln to be a little beefier and kind of lean into that athleticism and sturdy himself up, and he goes out, wins the Iron Buckeye. So I'm sure he definitely spent quite a bit of time in the gym. That they don't, I think 6 guys this period won it. I think maybe 6 or 8. But yeah, he's just he's an excellent athlete. It's really fun to watch. If we want to get into quarterbacks, Mark, I don't think he had the best day.
No,
Julian definitely today was pretty on point, pretty smooth. The offense looked pretty good with him running it. Little clunkier with Lincoln today.
Yeah, if I were like scoring this on like let's call the first 3 days like boxing rounds, I would probably have given Lincoln the first round. I probably would have been a draw yesterday. I thought it was fairly close. I didn't think anyone really popped. And then today I would have given it to Julian. But today is probably the most important. They did way more scrimmaging today. They did a lot of 11-on-11 best on best type stuff today. Not so much the first 2 days. So that was, I don't want to say eye-opening because it's still so early in camp, and Ryan Day would tell you if you were on here right now, like they haven't done anything yet. But it was interesting to me that as things have gotten more competitive, that Julian has kind of maybe improved or elevated himself a little bit from where he was, when camp started the other day.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you'd find anybody who watched practice today who wouldn't say that Julian, it might have been a 10-8 round.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah, it was about a 10-8 round.
Like, I've had a hard time separating them the first 2 days. I said I would have went toward Lincoln day one, but it wasn't like significant to me. And then I thought yesterday was kind of too close to call. Just, again, wasn't no, but yeah, I think that was a clear win today for Julian. But so I guess quarterback, it's going to dominate the discussion this month.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this right now? Because there's some scary elements to it, but yet it's like, when's the last time Ryan Day didn't put out a productive quarterback?
I'm not too awfully concerned. I mean, but I think a lot of that goes back to just I've been a big time believer in Julian since he was a high school prospect. Everything about his story I love. The dude was born to be a quarterback. Has been training for this since he was a little kid, right? I mean, there are just the one thing is his slight build. That's it. Everything else, perfect.
Yep.
He's just perfect. He's like the perfect thing. You perfect prodigy. So to me, when it comes to Ryan Day and what we know he likes in a quarterback, not what he values most in a quarterback is a guy that specializes in what Julian's saying can do well. And that's why I think ultimately, while Lincoln could outplay him, and yes, he could win it. It is a real competition. The fact that if he outplays him, he can win it. But I just think, in the end, this is really an uphill battle for Lincoln.
Yeah, I think Julian is the guy right now who's certainly out in front and is the odds-on favorite to be the guy. They just need. Look, it'd be great if you could have a superstar, and maybe Julian is going to be that at some point. But this team with number 4 and number 2 on defense, you just need your quarterback to manage the game, to make good decisions. Don't turn the ball over. Throw the ball away instead of taking a sack. Just do the things that keep your offense on schedule, because you have so many guys who can take it 70 yards. You have running backs who can do it. You have 3 or 4 receivers who can do it. We haven't even talked about Mylan Graham yet, who I think is going to be a star here, but is probably their 4th receiver this year. Well, definitely their 4th receiver this year. Like, just the quarterback's just got to drive the bus. He doesn't need to do everything else.
That's it. So, he's got to be good. Doesn't got to be great.
Yep.
The most boring thing Day says all the time, right? Do the routine things routinely.
Yep.
That's all he's got to do.
Yep.
The weapons are just ridiculous.
Yep. More super chats.
Let's go rapid fire on these next couple ones.
Yep.
City 12 asking, how does Devin Sanchez look?
So I love Devin Sanchez. I love his game. He got beat by Jeremiah today on a deep ball. He got beat by Carnell on really a beautiful throw by Julian Sayin on day 1. But the thing about Devin is those things will happen to him, and then he'll come back and he'll beat Carnell Tate on a rep, or he'll beat Jeremiah, or he'll beat, whoever's Mylan Graham, whoever's in front of him. I thought Devin has really had a good first 3 days. I think it's going to be impossible to keep him off the field. I think he's going to play quite a bit this year.
I you know, I mean, corners are going to get beat. You know, Devin's got
Especially
the
with these
mentality.
receivers.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? That's why he came here, right?
Yep.
So, obviously, he's just a phenom, and I'm totally with you. They're not going to be able to keep him off the field. You can't waste a year of him. He's that good.
Yeah.
But as for today, yeah, I mean, like Mark said, there was a couple of, you know, but
getting beat by
learned.
Jeremiah Smith's not exactly a deal breaker on getting to play football, getting out there on the field.
All right, two more. Woody's asking, is Hicks moving around or just playing defensive end?
He's just been playing edge.
I just saw him at edge today.
We just saw him at edge today. That's all we saw. I'll say this. I don't know. I'm not going to make any promises on how this is going to look once the season starts. I don't know if CJ is going to have a breakout type of season. It's too early to call on that. But he's got some juice. He's got some speed to him coming off the edge. He's gotten really good at his get off and just getting that first step toward the quarterback. And he brings a little bit of a different element in terms of his speed. So it will be interesting to see if that can truly translate into on-field production this fall. But yeah, they're giving him every opportunity right now to play defensive end.
Yeah, I've kind of been of the mindset that this is not going to be something that's going to be a huge impact on this defense with CJ Hicks. But I got to say, look really, really good today.
Yeah.
Got to give him his props.
Last one before we tag the other guys in. How are the O tackles looking? And congrats, Juck, from Cameron.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Obviously, a wonderful opportunity, and the guys couldn't have been better. Really cool experience for me today. But they look fantastic. Ethan Onyanwa, not just a specimen, but I watched him just when they're warming up, and he just, you know, he's pulling and the speed, the way this man moves at that size. I've never seen that in person. Like it was something scary, man. It was something. So he looks fantastic. I thought Phillip Daniels looked really, really good. We talked about Ian Moore. He had a really good day. Carter Lowe looks really good. I'm telling you, we got a bright future here with the offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive tackles right now are looking like they could be. The depth could be a strength there this year, which again is kind of Twilight Zone type stuff. But I'm a huge fan of Ian Moore, and he's gonna be able to work at both left and right if needed. He's been cross-trained ever since he's got here. Again, we talked about him earlier. He had a great one-on-one session today. Ian Moore he stonewalled Caden Curry, came right back against Zion Grady, did the same thing. This was working at left tackle. So they have some really good options there. Ethan Onyanwa, I was talking to someone who's actually here who does a lot of work with the NFL scouts and stuff like that. He told me, he said, Ethan Onyanwa is definitely on the radar there, and it's going to be an NFL draft pick next year. So they've got some pieces here. It's just about, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, cohesiveness. How quickly can you get two new tackles and everyone else on the same page? But I think by the end of September, this offensive line is going to look pretty good.
It's going to be a unit, and I'm a big believer in Tyler Bowen and the whole system. I love it.
The three coaches thing is awesome.
It's great.